Good evening, folks. Good evening, and welcome to Wednesday night TikTok Live. Being a problem that I can't go TikTok Live tomorrow night, so tonight we have to try and do it. In any case, let's see what we can see. Okay. There we go. Okay, good evening to everybody. You know how it goes on normally on a Thursday night, tonight on a Wednesday night. You ask some questions, I try and answer them, and I see if I can help you with some basic financial advice before you go and see a professional for the proper big planning sessions. Let's just see. Can't seem to get the light right tonight, so you're just going to have to bear with me. What you see is what you get, kind of thing. Okay, so let's see. Anybody want to ask any questions so far? No questions yet. We've got a couple of people that's got on. See how many people are going to hang around. Some good news today with the budget. For those of you that don't know, there's been some increases in the tax-free limits, which is very good for us. What did I do? Let me just get back to that screen because I can't remember it all. Oh, here we go. There we go. Annual limits on tax-free investments has been increased from 36,000 to 46,000. Annual deductions for retirement annuities pension funds has been increased from 350,000 to 430,000. CGT exclusion on gains is 50,000, increased from 40,000. Exclusion on capital gains or losses on death has been increased from 300,000 to 440,000. And the exclusion of capital gain or loss on disposal of primary residence have been increased from 2 million to 3 million. So all of that is very good news. And for micro businesses, I think also very, very good news. For micro businesses, turnover has been increased from 1 million to 2.3 million for turnover tax. So that's all good news for people that has their own small businesses and for people that want to invest in their personal capacities. So, after all the moaning and bitching and complaining, it seems like government is listening. Don't know how much impact that will have on you guys, but there you go. So let's see, I have been reading that off for you, and I don't know if I missed any questions. Let me have a quick look here. If somebody has posted any questions and I've missed it. Oh, no, it's a pleasure. I will update you with anything new that comes out that I think is of importance. Please explain the vested funds and what it means. A bit confused. LJB, trust me, I think we're all bloody confused when it comes to the vested funds. We have been sitting the last few days actually with a couple of clients' pension funds where they either want to make withdrawals, which I always warn people against, or retirement, and where we have to exercise the options for them and help to complete the documentation. And it is a nightmare to understand this stuff. So let's put it this way, your vested funds, okay? Your vested funds is the funds that was invested in your pension fund or provident fund pre-September 2024. So those funds are still under the old rules with regards to pension funds and everything. So that's your vested funds. Then you've got the new savings pot, and that's basically when you invest your money now, it goes into a retirement pot, and a portion of that, 1/3 of that, is seen as the savings pot. So basically this is just the new names for your pension fund and the 1/3 and 2/3 options. And the non-vested funds is then basically those portions of your pension fund that you cannot withdraw at all, that you cannot touch until retirement. So it is confusing, trust me, I know. And I can see now already, after just basically a year and a half, that it is going to be a nightmare one of these days. I think there are going to be so many people complaining in the future when they exercise their 1/3 and 2/3 options, and when they do not get the capital that they expected to get. There is going to be so many people that's going to be upset and that's going to lay complaints, because it is really absolutely confusing on how to complete these documents. These 4 pots makes it confusing, and the documentation from the companies is even more confusing, because no 2 companies' documentation is the same. So LJB, all I can say to you is don't feel alone when it comes to the confusion, mate. Even us as financial advisors, and if there's a financial, or if all financial advisors tell you, no, we understand everything 100%, they're talking nonsense, okay? They're absolutely talking rubbish. Most financial advisors, I think, are battling with this pot system. But the way I've explained it to you now is basically how it is. And as much as it is a short explanation, and I told you what you can keep and what you can't keep, when you actually sit down with the figures, then it becomes confusing from the start again. Okay, let's see who is next on LJB's heels with a question, if any. Pleasure, LJB. Once again, I wish that I could give you a better explanation. Ian Butter says, I think financial advisors are a scam. Well, Ian, you are entitled to feel and think exactly what you want, sir. And I think that the bottom line is that there's a lot of people that think certain lawyers are scammers. I think there's a lot of people that think certain doctors are scammers. I think there's a lot of people that think certain accountants are scammers. And yes, you're always going to have those people. You're always going to have those people that are not honest, that are scamming people, that are taking people for a ride. It's going to be there, because we live in a society, and as human beings, where the natural tendency is to try and make an easy buck. So Ian, if you feel that way, all good. If you want to see if there are financial advisors that are not scammers, and that actually gives value to your life in terms of the advice that they give, contact me. I will gladly set up an appointment with you just to chat with you, tell you what we do, how we do it, give you a bit of an explanation. And hey, even if you still think we are scammers afterwards, I'll wave you goodbye and you can go and enjoy your life. I really won't mind. But I'm really open to talking with you, okay? Absolutely, mate. So let's see if anybody else is coming on here with any questions. Graham says, I'm extremely thankful for the advice that got me to sign up at 21 versus buying more beer. Graham, yes, you see, and there you go. There's somebody valuable. You find somebody like that that convinces you to do something like that. Graham, I tell you one thing, what is quite amazing, which I have found in the last few years, and I suppose it's just the age thing. You tend, as a financial advisor, to work with people in your age group more often than not. And because of my age group, most of the clients that I deal with, their children are either finishing up with school or are in their early 20s and so on. And what I have found is a number of parents who has contacted me and said to me, listen, don't you want to come and talk to our kids? They don't want to listen to us. And isn't it just the way that children are? Children don't ever want to listen to their parents. They will listen to other people, but not to the parents. In any case, so I've had a number of these appointments in the last couple of years where I go to people's houses. I ask mum and dad to go and sit in the bedroom or outside at the bar area or whatever. And then I talk to the kids about financial planning and investing and the benefits of starting early and so on. And yeah, it's amazing that not long after that, mum and dad will say, thank you very much. It looks like it really worked. They are definitely thinking differently. So for you that got your advisor to get you to sign up at the age of 21, man, I'm sure at this stage, you can go and buy him a beer to say thank you for the good advice. Nicholas Fisser says, sorry to ask, how can I get into contact with you regards my finances? I need to get a portfolio. Nicholas, let me just see. I get the question very often, so let me give you my WhatsApp number. I'll give you my WhatsApp number and I'll put it in the comment section, yeah? And you can send me a WhatsApp on my social media phone and I will start to have a conversation with you there. And then I'll help you from there. I must be honest with you, I don't give out my personal number because I've just got so many people contacting me. I cannot take all the calls that I get on a daily basis. So I literally give out this WhatsApp number, but I promise everybody that I will get back to them, and I have not missed one person. I have given personal feedback to every person that's contacted me on that social media WhatsApp number. So I've put it in for you, but I'll just mention it as well. It's 060 541 4685. 060 541 4685. Welcome to reach out and I will help you to the best of my ability. Let's see who's next here. Suren, explain how financial advisors work out their commission on your investment. Suren, you're not going to like my answer, but I can't give you a straightforward answer. It's as easy as that. And the reason why I say I can't give you a straightforward answer is because you've got different investments, okay? That's the first thing. So you've got retirement annuities, tax-free plans, endowments, and unit trust. All of these investments, the commissions and or fees that an advisor can earn on it is different from product to product. So that's the first thing, okay? Then you've got recurring investments and you've got lump sum investments. So once again, the commission that is calculated there is also different on the four products between recurring and lump sum investments. So I can't give you an exact explanation, but this is what I can tell you. And this is a good basis to do your calculations on. So a good basis would be that if you take an investment with a fixed term, okay, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever the case might be, and you commit to paying a specific premium, then the way you will calculate that is normally premium times 12 times 80% divided by 27 multiplied by the actual number of years of the investment. So divided by 27 multiplied by 5 or 10 or 50. And then, if it is an endowment or retirement annuity, the advisor only gets 50% of that amount. On an endowment, they get the full amount. So that's the way that you will do it. It's that little formula. When it comes to lump sum investments, well, then on most of the investments, such as endowments and unit trusts, you can take, or the advisor can negotiate with you a fee from 0 to 3.5% upfront, okay, and then 0 to 1% as an ongoing fee. I don't know many advisors that charges 3.5% anymore because people just won't pay that. Standard fee that I charge is 1% upfront and 0.5% as an ongoing. But once again, what I've just explained to you is basically with endowments and with unit trust. It changes again when it comes to retirement annuities, preservation funds, etc., and so on. So, if I had to go through all the products and do calculations on all of them, I'm going to have to sit here and give you about 20 different calculations. So what I normally say to people is just do yourself a favor, and when you deal with an advisor, ask them to show you the quotation. And on the quotation, or the investment declaration, or whatever they want to call it, the commission must reflect there. And then you can see it. And then, of course, you can negotiate. Because even though there's a set formula in which everything is calculated, you as the client has the right to say, but I don't think it's fair that I pay you X amount of commission. I think for the amount of work that you put in, Y is a fair amount. And then you and the advisor can have a bit of a arm wrestling contest to see who comes out top. Okay. So there we go, Suren. Thank you for that question. I'm glad you asked it because there's a number of people listening here, and it's one of the questions I get on a regular basis, and I really don't mind disclosing what the commission and fees are. It's just a bit difficult. Graham says the discussion should happen at school level. Graham, I cannot agree with you more. I absolutely do agree 100% that the discussion on investments and whatever should start in school. As a matter of fact, myself and a couple of other business partners have on numerous occasions talked about the possibility of creating a curriculum or maybe even a school where we can start talking to children from as young as 10 or 12 on learning about finances, learning about business, and learning it from a practical point of view instead of learning the book knowledge. Because I'm sure you know that you can go and get business degrees and all kinds of things, but all of those things are always out of a book. It's book knowledge. And we have seen it so often. A person comes out of university, they've got all these degrees, they walk into the workplace and their shoulders are back, head is high, I am the man, I've got this degree, and 3 days later they're like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Because the practicality of what happens in practice versus the actual book knowledge is two completely different things. So Graham, that is one of my dreams, to still bring such a curriculum or course to kids in schools. Okay, let's see this next year. LJB, what will happen if you say you resign or go on early pension and relocate to Australia as an example? So, LJB, if you resign or go on early pension, remember early pension is age 55, so that's the earliest, okay? So if you resign, you can do that stupid thing and withdraw your pension or provident fund, and then based on this new system, you will get a lot of it, and there's going to be a little that remains in the back. If you officially immigrate, okay, and move to Australia, your pension fund or provident fund has to remain in South Africa for 3 years before you can withdraw it. But you can get access to those funds always. It's just going to differ on how much you can get access to at what point. Is it before retirement, after retirement? Are you doing it as part of your financial immigration? My honest opinion is the world has become so small when it comes to finances. Some of the best investments we do for clients these days is offshore investments in places like Isle of Man and America and so on. And getting access to that funds is easy. So I would say to anybody that wants to leave South Africa and go to a place like Australia, go, but don't close your bank account in South Africa. And then when you get to the point of retirement from your pension or provident fund, retire as per usual, because you then still get all the tax benefits that's associated with those funds that you've invested over the years, and then move it across to Australia. Then take it over and use it. Folks, just give me 1 second. I know that this is very unprofessional, but I need to switch on the lights. I'm starting to battle to see me, and then you must also battle to see me. I suppose then you battle. There we go. Okay. Let's try this again. Sri Lanka is 59 for 5. It seems like they are not going to make it against New Zealand. Okay, that's a lot better. So there we go, LJB. Okay, Ferd says, hi there, I had to pay a flat rate tax of 41%. February 25 till February 26, Saul said, I've got 3 incomes. Okie dokie. Hold on, I've just, sorry folks, just need to go back here. Okay. I had to pay a flat rate tax of 41%. Saul said, I've got 3 incomes. First, it doesn't matter whether you've got 1 income or 10 incomes. At the end of the day, what SARS does is they take all those incomes and they put it together. Doesn't matter how many incomes you have. Gets put together. And the reason that you're on a 41% tax rate then is because you are in that income bracket that is the 41% tax income bracket. So yes, mate, what you need, and well, if you've got 3 or 4 different income streams, it's very likely that you might be employed by a company and working full-time for them, and the other two incomes are coming from rental incomes, or maybe contracting work, or maybe even another business. Now, if that's the case, then what you need to do is you need to get to an accountant, because an accountant will help you then with your tax returns, because then they will say to SARS, yes, he's getting 3 incomes, but this portion of the income comes out of the business, and this is all the stuff we write off against that. This part of the income comes from the rental income, and this is all the stuff we write off against that. And this is the income that he gets from his full-time employment. And if you've got somebody that does that taxes for you, I promise you, you won't be paying 41% anymore. So find yourself somebody that knows this stuff, a good accountant, and let them do your tax returns for you. You say you've got stand-up money market and your pension, will they keep on deducting again this year? And if so, well, if you've got a stand-up money market, remember that the interest that you earn there is fully taxable. You get 23,800 tax-free, the rest is taxed. And then you've got your pension. So once again, now they take this pension that you're earning and they say, listen, he's getting 100 Rand from his pension, and his interest that he's earning from this massive investment he's got in the money market is also 100 Rand, so he's got 200 Rand, put it together, okay, that's why he's on a tax rate of 41%. So in a situation like that, if you get a pension and a interest from a money market fund, very, very small chance that your taxes will actually reduce, because they will keep on seeing everything as an income. If you had that rental income, like I said, or that business or something, then maybe you could have had a few deductions. So first, this is what I'm going to recommend, is your money market that you've got, okay, must be generating substantial interest. So it must be a substantial amount that you've got in that money market, which is creating part of your problem. So what you should maybe do is find yourself a financial advisor that can do some planning around it for you, and then go and restructure that. Because what you can do is you can leave a portion in the bank, which is an emergency fund. You can take a portion and buy a guaranteed income plan for yourself, which will replace the interest, but at a substantially lower tax rate. And then you can take a portion of the money and put it into a different type of investment where the taxes is not so harsh. And if you do this right, you will end up paying substantially less tax in the next financial year, and in the next 5 years you will actually be smiling, because you would then pay no tax except for the money that you get from your pension fund. So go and try that out. Okay. Let's see, should I rather have one investment plus pension? Well, first, I think I've just answered you with regards to that. I think you actually need 3 different investments, but I'm thinking that based on what you've written so far, and me assuming that you've got a substantially big money market fund. So let's see who's next here. The Prof Exor. Don't you think this is a play to get more people to invest and then change the tax implications? No, I don't think so. I think these benefits is long overdue. Remember that tax-free investments were, well, I can't even remember how long ago it was launched. But since it's been launched, it's been on 36,000 Rand per year. So the thing is, we have to accept that there's always going to be something that's called inflation. And we're always going to have to accept that the purchasing power of a Rand is going to reduce on a year-to-year basis because of inflation. So it just stands to reason that if you give me 36,000 Rand tax-free now, and in 10 years from now, it's still 36,000 Rand that you're giving me tax-free, then effectively I'm not getting a tax-free investment of 36,000 Rand. I'm actually getting, if I work it back to the value of the past, I'm actually now only getting 26,000 Rand as a tax-free investment. And for that reason, at some point, SARS has to increase those limits to accommodate for inflation. So no, I don't think that it is a play to get more people to invest and change the tax implications. Just as A lot of people always say, that SARS and the government is going to start taking our pension funds, and they're doing these changes with the GPS so that they can get more their hands on the pension fund. And I think it's a load of rubbish because of the rules that we've got with regards to those type of funds, and because of our constitution. So no, I absolutely don't think so. I think that SARS has been under pressure from numerous sides to give these increases to people because they haven't adjusted those figures for a substantial amount of time. And now that they've done it, I reckon that we won't see them changing it again for at least another 2 to 3 years. Let's see. Tristan van Niekerk and lawyer and hey. Corneille, where can I find a Cat 2 license holder? Oh my man, my son also wants one of those, so I don't know. Where can I find Cat 2 license holders? I really can't tell you because I know that my son wants a Cat 2 license as well, and so on. All I can think of is that you could maybe approach compliance companies such as Masthead and Moonstone and ask them if they're willing to speak to the people that they do compliance for and find out if there are willing sellers in the market. But over and above that, it is very scarce, and I know that lots of people are looking, and I know that these guys are selling it at the premium these days because not many people want to apply for their own licenses because it's such a schlep. It is unfortunate because our industry needs a lot of financial advisors, but there's no incentive for people to actually become financial advisors and start brokering firms. It's just so difficult. And so everybody rather wants to buy a second-hand one than start or then go the route of applying for their own. Okay, LJB, 100%. I will check out for your WhatsApp. KB, what do you think about the tax-free savings contribution increase? Well, like I've just explained, KB, I don't know if you were here, I think that it's been overdue for a long time. That tax-free limit of 36,000 Rand has been there for years. So absolutely, it's been overdue, and I'm very happy that they've eventually done it. It shows that SARS and government, although they need to in as much tax as they can in order to make the country run and everything working, it shows that they still are committed to giving the man in the street something back in order to encourage them to invest for the future. So I'm very happy it happened. Good day, Mpo. Is bursary regarded as an income? Ross, I honestly don't know, but I don't think so. I can't think that it is because it is basically like a charity giving you something. So I don't know. I honestly don't know if bursary is regarded as income. That's something that I will have to go and find out. Not very often anybody gets to stump me, but Ross, you've just stumped me with that question. Well done. Well done. Maybe I should just quickly ask my team. Hang on a second, we can do this thing. We have technology. Let's see if anybody can send me an answer quickly. Let's see. Maybe we're lucky. Gents, can one of you please go and check if a bursary and the funds that a person gets from a bursary is seen as an income and therefore taxable? Please send me a quick short answer in writing because I can't listen to voice notes at the moment. Thanks, hey, bye. Let's see if one of my guys can jump on and quickly do the research for me. Let's see what's next. Suren, is 1st March the start of the new tax year? Yes, indeed, Suren, 1st of March is the start of the new tax year. So for every individual I have to say it's for individuals because certain companies are only June, July. But for individuals, yes, 1st of March is. Whoa, Professor, you say you are willing to pay 100k a month plus for a Cat 2 holder. Then you must have a fantastic opportunity if you're willing to pay that. And yeah, I'm sure you can. Once again, like I said, go and speak to compliance companies. Maybe one of them can help. Game Changer says, hi sir, what do you think about this tax-free investment 36k? Game Changer, we've just talked about it, that has been increased from 36,000 to 46,000. And I think tax-free investments is a very good investment if you do it for a long period of time. The only time a tax-free investment really works for anybody is if you do it for a long period of time. When I say a long period of time, 5 years is not long. 7 years is not long. 15 years starting to get there. But try 20 to 40 years. You really want to see the power of compound growth on a tax-free investment? You do that for 40 years. You start one when you are 20 if your parents didn't start one for you. You keep on paying it until the age of 34 and then it will be filled up, and then you leave it until you go on pension at 60 or 65. You will be blown away with what the value will be then. So it's a great investment if you do it for long term. I see, unfortunately, too many people that I consider as being uninformed, uneducated, and sometimes just plain stupid take up tax-free investments, and because you can always get access to the money, invest their money for 12 months and then they draw the money and they go on holiday. And then they think, yay, I've scored big time because I've saved for 12 months and now I've got tax-free money to go on holiday. Man, you've just made the biggest mistake of your life. So, tax-free investments, great. But then it must be done for a long period of time. What is the new, Quibus says, hi Kunai, what is the new tax implications for us announced in the budget speech? Well, Quibus, I don't know about all the tax implications, okay, because I have not read the budget booklet yet. But there's been a number of things that I've talked about that's been increased, such as tax-free investment limits has been increased, the rebate on retirement annuities has been increased, capital gains tax limits for the actual capital gain before it gets taxed has been increased. Primary properties and the capital gains tax there, that has been increased. So all of these are very, very good things for the man in the street. It's all very much encouraging the man in the street to plan better and to invest better. Yes, the tax brackets has been changed. But I must be honest with you, I haven't seen what the tax bracket is yet. I've seen one, and that was the 18% tax bracket. And what they've basically done is they've lifted that, I think it was 214,000 to 245,000 Rand, which now means that an income earner that used to earn 220,000 and would have moved up to a 21% tax bracket will now move back again to an 18% tax bracket. So all in all, from the little bit that I've seen and heard, I think it's pretty good. Yes, I know there's going to be things like the sin taxes, that always comes in, so be ready to pay more for the smokes and for the beers in a few weeks. It's definitely going to come. So that's once again going to affect people. But from the little that I've seen, it sounds like it's a pretty good budget this year, which I'm very happy about because everybody has been complaining about SARS in one way or another. So with the little bit, like I say, that I know about, it seems like it's a very good budget and that it's bringing benefits to the table for the man in the street. Let's see who's next. Sifron, is it better to contribute monthly or full lump sum on your tax-free savings account? Sifron, it's my opinion that if you can do a lump sum at the beginning of the tax year, so after the 1st of March, now not for 36,000 anymore, but for 46,000, if you can do that, it's better than contributing your 3,000 or 4,000 Rand per month towards your tax-free plan. And the simple argument for that is that if you put your 46,000 Rand in on the 1st of March, you've got the entire tax year, 12 months, that 46,000 Rand can grow. But if you put in a monthly investment, let's say it's going to be 4,000 Rand a month plus minus, then the first 4,000 Rand you put in the 1st of March has 12 months to grow. The next 4,000 Rand that you put in 1st of April has 11 months to grow. The next 4,000 Rand has 10 months to grow. So you should get a much better return on your investment because you've got a bigger amount that's got a longer period to grow than a bunch of small amounts during the year. And there is going to be exceptions, okay? I know somebody is going to jump up, but it doesn't work like that. There is going to be exceptions, and the exception is going to happen when there is some substantial market movement, volatility in the market. In cases like that, it might actually be better to do the monthly thing. But in the majority of cases, doing the lump sum is going to be the best option if you can do it. Okay, let's see. Mr. Mark Hoffman, welcome to you, sir. I must say I enjoyed our chat yesterday. Welcome here. And Mark, yes, you are cool. If a child is under 18, a bursary up to 100,000 is not taxable. If older and above 100,000, there you go. Mark, my man, you are the man. So, ladies and gents, Mark Hoffman, I want to introduce you to him now quickly, and at some stage we can do a bit of a live together, Mark. But Mark is a young financial advisor who I've spoken to about a year ago, and we had a lacquer chat against yesterday. And Mark is really, he's up and coming. And if I just think about the knowledge that he has when we discussed things yesterday, it's not going to be very long before this Okie is going to be absolute, what do we call it, specialist when it comes to retirement planning and investment planning. So go and check out Mark's videos. He does videos on social media and TikTok as well, and slowly but surely he's building up a following. He's really going to be a good financial advisor in time to come. But there is the answer, and once again, thank you, Mark. Mark says if a child is under the age of 18 and the bursary is up to 100,000 Rand, then it's not taxable. If the child is older and it's above 100,000 Rand, then the bursary is taxable and tax may apply. Thanks again, Mark. Appreciate it, young man. Anrich Botha, what do you think if the tax-free savings remaining at 500k? You know what, Anrich, that's the one thing. I did not see whether that limit stayed at 500,000, but even if it does, okay, even if that stays at 500,000, by increasing the limit to 46,000 Rand per year now, what it is immediately doing, it's immediately bringing that 14 years that it took you to fill up your 500,000 Rand, it's immediately bringing that down to 11 years for you to fill up your 500,000 Rand. And for people that are going to do this on a long term, like I just said, you do it at the age of 20 and leave it until 60 or 65, they are going to see a substantial increase in their returns because of the fact that they could get that 500,000 Rand filling up their limit so much quicker. So I think it's great. Like I say, I saw the increase from 36,000 to 46,000, but I didn't see if the overall limit is lifted. And I can only assume that if you say that it's remained the same, that it has remained the same. But even so, I think it is a very good thing for investors that they've done this. Only exempt from tax if they study at a recognized institute and if the bursary exceeds 20k. Thank you very much, the Prof. Exor. It seems like you and Mark should talk to each other because you both are very keen on quickly going to find answers. One of these days I'll be out of a job with everybody answering everything that I'm trying to answer. For school and 60k for tertiary per year. Thank you very much. Mystery 388 says, I've got 2 tax-free savings accounts and 1 annuity. Should I move all my eggs into one for bigger returns? Hello? No, definitely not. Okay, definitely not, Mystery 388. You're not going to get bigger returns. Okay, excuse me. So let's forget for 1 second, let's just forget for 1 second the limits on tax-free investments and retirement annuities and so forth. If you have these three plans, the two tax-free plans and the one retirement annuity, and let's say you invest in each of them 10,000 Rand, and also let's say that you use exactly the same portfolio with all three of them. Say that portfolio gives you a 10% return on investment. If you've got three investments, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, each of them gets 10%, it's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. So at the end of the year on your three investments, you got 1,000 return on each and 3,000 in total. If you go and put everything together, all the eggs in one basket, you've got 30,000 Rand. And if you then get 10% growth on your 30,000 Rand, you get 3,000 Rand. So the bigger amount, okay, the bigger amount is not the thing that ever gives you the bigger return on investment. The bigger return on investment is dependent on the underlying portfolio. So if I were you, okay, if I had two tax-free investments in a retirement annuity, what I would do is I would go and have a look at the portfolios that I'm invested in. And then I would make changes on my portfolios, because if you've got one that's a money market account, for example, and the other one is a stable fund, for example, and then you've got a global equity fund as an example, then you're sitting with three portfolios where the one gives you 7% return on investment, the other one gives you 8% return on investment, the other one gives you 14% return on investment. So in that case, you would rather change the portfolios that they all go towards global equity, or at least the other two into more aggressive portfolios. Obviously, all dependent on how long you're going to be investing for, because you need time for these investments. But I think the long and the short is now, I won't move everything into one investment. I will go and look at my portfolios and see how I can change my portfolio so that it is giving me better returns, okay? And I'll leave it apart, because then it gives me more flexibility when I get to the point where I either need to start drawing capital or income from it. I hope that answers it for you. Let's see. So Cass is asking Game Changer, what is the max in the new 46k? Old was 500k. Well, like I say, I haven't read up on it, but just based on what the gentleman said earlier, I believe that the 500,000 is still the max over the term. That's fine. That's fine. It's really not a problem. Let's see. Can you believe it? There we go. This is tax income. What's to say? Well, folks, I can confirm that both gentlemen, Mr. Mark Hoffman and Mr. Prof. X Sir, are correct. I have just gotten from one of my advisors, and it's actually one of my senior advisors, which I'm surprised, because I don't expect him to be watching his phone this time of the evening. He has just sent me everything that they have just talked about in terms of the bursaries and what is taxed and what is not taxed. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for assisting me tonight. You're 100% correct. There we go. Okay. Herr Klaus, I'm going on pension 2029. Must I start tax-free or put the money somewhere else? Herr Klaus, so here's my thing, my good man. If you're going on pension in 2029, okay, you can still make use of a tax-free investment, because you're obviously still going to get tax-free returns on it. The thing is that if you have a very short period of time in which to invest in a tax-free investment, you will get as much more than what you would get in a unit trust or endowment which has the same portfolio. The difference between what you're going to get on your tax-free investment and what you will get on an endowment or unit trust is basically going to be insignificant. That's my opinion. I mean, if you're going to invest that over 3 years, let's say you do 46 a year, that means you're going to be investing 138,000 Rand. And let's assume that you only invest that 138,000 Rand. Now, at that stage, if your 138,000 Rand has grown in the tax-free investment to 160,000 Rand, and an endowment is 159,000 Rand, there's 1,000 Rand difference between the two, then I don't know if it's really worth all the hoo-ha. So, Herklaas, my personal opinion is, if you want to use it, absolutely. You will always get a little bit more than what you will get on an endowment or a unit trust in the same portfolio. But don't expect that because you start the tax-free plan, especially on a short period of time, don't expect that it's going to blow the lights out. That is, I think, where people miss the bus. People think tax-free investment, tax-free investment, tax-free investment, and 5 years from now, yes, I'm going to have brilliant returns because it's all tax-free. No. You will have a little bit more. Tax-free investments, similar to all other investments, the only thing that really makes the magic happen in investments is time. And the longer you can stay, the better. The person investing for 10 years by contributions and then leaving the money for the next 40 years and is invested for 50 years is always going to be better off than the person that did not invest for those 10 years but started 15, 20 years later and then invested for 30 years. They're never going to catch that person that only invested for the 10 years and left it for 40 years. Time is the magic in investments. I'm 25. What should I be investing in or doing right now? I have a salary only. Okay, if you've got a salary, that's fantastic. The nice thing is you're starting off, okay? So the first thing that you must do, according to me, is you must pay yourself first, as they say. I know you're getting a salary, but getting a salary means I've got money to pay rent and I've got money to pay water, electricity and food or whatever the case might be. Paying yourself first is saying I'm taking a portion of it and I'm putting it separate. That's my money that is going to buy me a wealthy future one day. So that's the first thing. Work on a proper budget. Then, whatever you take out of your income to pay yourself first, with that, I would say the first thing you should do is get some money in the bank. 2, maybe 3 times your monthly salary. Get it in the bank in a savings account. And what that's going to do, it's going to give you this peace of mind to know that if there's a crisis, I've got some money. I'm going to be okay. It's amazing the power that there is in the peace of mind of knowing, listen here, I don't have to become desperate. I don't have to go and get credit cards and personal loans and drop myself into debt. So that's the first thing. Then from there on, start deciding on retirement annuities, tax-free investments, unit trust, endowments, and those decisions can only be made based on what your plans is, when you want that money, how much risk you're willing to pay, etc. It's always a very simple question when somebody asks me like this. I'm 25 and I want to invest. What must I invest in? But it all goes hand in hand with a bit of a plan. I have to have a bit of a plan. And it's not rocket science plan. Make no mistake, it's not rocket science. Get some money in a bank account so that you've got that peace of mind. And then say, okay, well, now that I've got the money in the bank account, what do I want to do with this money? What do I want that money to do for me now? Well, I want this money now to make sure that I've got enough at retirement. Well, then you go retirement annuity. Or you go, no, well, actually what I want is I want to buy myself a house cash in 10 years from now. Unit trust, endowment, tax-free. One of those 3. But I actually want to save for retirement, but I would prefer not to use the money, but I want it liquid. But if I can leave it until retirement, well, tax-free is the ideal investment for that. So depending on what you want to do, depending on what your goal is that you want to reach then with the money that you're going to save, based on that, you can choose the right product for yourself. Okay, I hope that helps you. Shamaine Mika, what is a good equity to invest in? Oh man, Shamaine, I personally like Old Mutual Global Equity Fund. They are doing pretty well. I'm also a big fan of Alan Gray's Equity Fund. I think they do well. The S&P 500 ETF that you can get is very lekker. That does pretty well. So there's a number of these portfolios that do well. As a matter of fact, You won't believe it, but in the last 2 or 3 years, balanced funds has done so well that it actually looks like equity funds. It's actually in some cases outperformed equity funds. And I'm talking about a wide variety of balanced funds. So that is what I like. I like the few that I've mentioned to you now. And every now and again I do see another one that I look at and I like it, and then I add it to my little portfolio that I offer to clients. Thanks for kind words. Pleasure. Mark, you deserve it, bud. I'm an H2, Sherry Garth says, I'm an H2A worker. Where will be the best? Where can I put my money? I'm 36. So, Sherry Garth, you're most probably going to come back to South Africa because you're an H2A worker. So, because you are 36, I won't necessarily put it in a retirement annuity at this stage because you've got no income in South Africa that you can write it off against and get tax benefits from. So that will be a no-no. But when you come back to South Africa, you will most probably come back and have a job or a business or something like that. And for me, it's then a question, okay, what do we expect that I will be earning when I come back to South Africa? And if you expect that your earnings when you come back to South Africa is going to be substantial and that you will be in a high tax bracket, then I would say you go with the endowment or the tax-free investment. Alternatively, if you don't think that it might be possible and you will only get a mediocre or low income, then unit trust or the tax-free investment is once again a good call. So that is just in short, a very basic way of looking at your personal situation. Raymond Dupree says, best advice for young individuals. Best advice for young individuals, start learning how to work on a budget. Raymond, start learning how to work on a budget. 95% of the people that I deal with that goes on pension or has financial difficulty or battles to invest are people that don't work on a budget. They just get money here, they pay it out there, they don't have a clue what they do with their money on a monthly basis. So best advice is start working on a budget. Second best advice is, like I say, build a bit of an emergency fund. Get that 2 or 3 months salary in the bank. That gives you that peace of mind, okay? And then after that, you can start investing. And then a third piece of very good advice, go and read books on business, self-improvement, investing. Read things like David Ramsey's books, Baby Steps, Psychology of Money. Go and read books like this so you can understand how our brains work when it comes to investment, because if you understand how your brain works when it comes to investment, you won't do the silly things that people have been doing over the years. Once people realize that investing is not supposed to be what's the word? I just had it. Once people realize that investing is not supposed to be an emotional thing, but a logical thing, and they can act accordingly, people will do so much better with investing. Okay, 3 minutes to go. Is 'n tax-free investment nog steeds daarom die moeite werd as ek die jaar begin en ek is 53? Duncan, I answered that just a few minutes ago, but I'll answer it again. It's basically a question of, if you this age, okay, yes, the tax-free investment will always be beneficial. It's always going to give you a little bit more growth than what you're going to get on a unit trust or endowment if you make use of the same funds in both type of investments. But because of your age, don't expect the tax-free plan to outperform those other investments so much that you think 5 years or 10 years or 15 years down the line, you're going to have this massive amount of money in this tax-free plan versus if you were in another plan, it would have only been this much. It's not. There is going to be a small difference, so it's absolutely still to your benefit to do it, but don't have the misperception that because it's tax-free, that you are going to see a massive amount more than you would have if you had a normal endowment or unit trust. And I'm saying that to you at the age of 53 because I reckon by the age of 65 you're going to need this money to supplement your income or something like that. If it's not necessary, well, different story. But tax-free investments works properly and best for people that has or that does that type of investments for a very long period of time. And very long period of time, I consider minimum 30 years and longer. Okay. Hope that answers it for you, Duncan. Okay, folks, I must wrap it up. Otherwise, I'm not going to get food tonight. Let's see. What is crypto arbitrage? Oh, Raymond, crypto arbitrage is basically a transaction whereby the company buys crypto at a guaranteed rate in one country and sells it at a guaranteed rate in another country, and that difference between the buying price and selling price is the profit that is being made. So it's basically a guaranteed transaction whereby you know you're going to make a bit of profit between buying and selling. And that, in very, very simple terms, is crypto arbitrage. Let's see. Duncan, earn up to 60 to 61 with Prima Bank using crypto and traditional banking. Listen, it's not impossible. I've seen crypto arbitrage giving people 46%, 50% return investment. The one thing that I can tell you is any investment that gives you such high returns will not sustain it for a long period of time. There's many investments that have shoot out years and that performs at ridiculous rates for a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 5 years. But investments cannot sustain this type of growth. So Zentrix Primer Digital Group, with all due respect, this might be a good investment for a period of time and for somebody that's willing to take all that risk. But I will not advise anybody to invest in it. Definitely not on a platform like this. No, that's not good advice. I'm investing in those two banks. Charmaine Mika says, I'm investing in thoughts to banks. Charmaine, I do not like investing with banks. And when I say I don't like investing with banks, I don't like bank savings accounts. I think a bank savings account is for two reasons and two reasons only. Number one, for your emergency funds so that you can get access to it easily. And number two, for somebody that is really absolutely 100% conservative and for whom the tax on the interest will not be too much of a problem. Except for that, I will not be putting any money in a bank. I would rather say that if anybody wants to invest in a bank, banks do have investment platforms. So I don't know how good they are, but rather go and do investing through the bank platform than the bank savings account. But I prefer the companies I deal with. Raymond says, I started investing on easy equities, S&P 500 under tax-free account. Is that good? Raymond, I'm sure it's good because the S&P 500 is a pretty good benchmark and a pretty good portfolio overall. And if it continues with that, obviously you're then getting that growth on that S&P 500 tax-free versus somebody else that's investing in endowment and has a bit of tax payable on it. So I'm sure it's a good investment, but I cannot confirm it for you because I don't know the easy equity platform. I know about the company, but I don't deal with them, and therefore I cannot speak to how good they are, what their fees are, etc. Okay. Last one, Sammy Joe. Hey, I'm not sure if it has been asked. The RA limit has been adjusted. Is the percentage cap also increased? To be honest with you, Sammy Joe, that's one of the things that I also did not see today because I just had a quick squiz at the highlights that they put out. So I know it's been increased from 350,000 to 420 or 430,000, but whether the 27.5% has been increased, I don't know, and I don't think so. That's my honest opinion. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining me on a Wednesday night when I'm normally doing this on a Thursday night. You must go and have yourself a spectacular time, a fantastic week, and I'll chat to you all again next week. Next week, I'm sure I'll be back on Thursday night. Okay, keep well. Bye-bye.